Welcome into Jets Game Day presented by Audi. I'm your host, Caroline Hendershot, alongside Eric Allen, Bart Scott. Gentlemen, a big weekend for the Jets as they're unveiling Rivalries uniforms, a very special edition. What do you think of the threads?
Well, I like the threads, but I like the statement, rivalry, because that's exactly what it is. You know, I didn't realize how deep the rivalry was on the Miami side until Jason Taylor came here and told us that they make a whole big deal out of it. It's like, guys, we don't even pay attention. It's like it's Miami week, but it's not rivalry week for us. But if it's a rivalry for them, then it makes a rivalry for us. So we got beef. Then, listen, we're going to wear our nice metallic and dark green uniforms with the charcoal gray. We're going to come out and we're going to perform accordingly.
Speaking of Jason Taylor, he's definitely rooting for the Jets this weekend.
He better be.
He was your former teammate, of course, and a long-time prolific pass rusher with the Miami Dolphins, but his son Mason continues to play well here for the green and white.
Yeah, let's get into this matchup because it is going to be a big one. Both teams coming off Week 13 wins. The Dolphins currently riding a 3-game win streak, sitting at 5-7. So let's get out of the tunnel, set the table for this matchup. Bart, you were just touching on it a little bit. What do these Dolphins-Jets games mean inside the locker room? I know you were saying, okay, we never really fully considered it a rivalry, but does it mean a little bit more when you're playing in division against a team that doesn't like you?
Of course, and so much history. Going all the way back to the Jumbo Elliott, you know, the fake spike. You got all the type of history all the makings for a great rivalry. You know, a rivalry renewed. So, you know, let's renew it and let's get it back spicy. And it only happens, you know, a rivalry only becomes a rivalry when you take something from them. Now, Miami took something from us early in the year. Now we're coming to take it back, and that's one of those hot dubs.
Yes, Week 4, they beat the Jets 27-21. So the Jets are definitely looking for that revenge. EA, it feels like the Jets have started to learn how to win in these close games. What aspect have you seen them improve on the most?
Well, I think you just said it, they're finding different ways to win ball games. Against Atlanta, they scored 10 points in the final 2 minutes. That's only happened 3 times in franchise history. And that was the first time it's happened at home. It wasn't always pretty, but they gutted it out. They have now won 3 out of 5. Now the next step for this team is to win games in the division. We're talking about a rivalry ball game against the Miami Dolphins this weekend. The Jets so far 0-3 in the division. They finish up with games against Miami this weekend. And of course, they'll be hosting New England before ending the season in Buffalo. Harrison Phillips said it this week. For a team to take that next step, you have to win games at home. You have to win games inside the AFC East.
Yeah, they're trying to right that ship within the division, so we'll see if they can get it done this week. Now, let's get into our top storylines presented by HCL Tech. Bart, you're first. What's your top storyline?
It's the A-chain. It's the A-train. Listen, last week, if you talk about what happened, and one thing that the Jets would have wanted to do better is maybe slow down Bijan Robinson just a little bit. But what happens is you are what you put on tape. And if I'm the Miami Dolphins, A-Chan had a tremendous game the week before. You're going to think that you can keep that rolling because you're inspired by the film that you watched the week before. So I think it's going to be imperative that the Jets put the ball in the hands of Tua Tagovailoa and make him beat you with his arm down the field. It's easy to turn around and hand the ball off to a guy that's capable of giving you explosive plays from the backfield. He's a guy that wants to try and circle the defense. The Jets are going to have to be on their P's and Q's and make sure that they force him to run between the tackles and lay them Rydales on them, because that's what it's all about. We got a Southern team coming up here to where real football is played, not some of this fancy layout in the stands and tan and drink cold drinks. You better be drinking some chicken broth today.
Yeah, you better be prepared because let me tell you, those sidelines have been quite chilly from my experience. EA, what's your top storyline?
The Jets special teams have been magnificent this season. There hasn't been a better kicking duo in the National Football League than Nick Folk and Austin McNamara. How about Nick Folk calling game last week against the Atlanta Falcons? How about from the return position, Kene Nwangwu and Isaiah Williams have been dynamic. Quantez Stiggers has stepped up as a gunner. And the Jets have been doing all this season without Irv Charles and Chris Boyd, who we hope is well on his way to recovery, a full recovery. With all that being said, Chris Banjo is in his first year as special teams coordinator here with the Jets. And I do want to say something about Isaiah Williams. What a recovery he has made as far as this season is concerned. Remember that game against Miami? He fumbled the ball on a kickoff return. He also fielded a fair catch inside his own 5-yard line. What did he do? He rose. He stood up to the adversity, and now he is thriving. You cannot find a better return man in the league right now than Isaiah.
I couldn't agree with that more wholeheartedly. He has shown everyone, all of the doubters and the haters, that, you know what, you might make a mistake here or there, but I'm going to show up and show out every single week forthcoming after that. So congrats to Isaiah Williams. He's been playing out of his mind. Don't go anywhere, because coming up on Jets Game Day, we have an exclusive one-on-one interview with defensive coordinator Steve Wilks.
Top Storylines is presented by the official digital transformation partner of the New York Jets, HCL Tech, supercharging progress. Jets Game Day is presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer to get behind the wheel of yours today, or visit AudiOffers.com for more information.
What was that end of the game sequence like on Sunday? Because I was in the tunnel, and as soon as Nick Folk hit the game winner, you sprinted out of the stadium.
Man, it was so exciting. And believe it or not, I had confidence that he was going to hit it. I had already taken my headset off when I was halfway, like you said, towards the tunnel. And when I looked back, it went through. I just was so, ecstatic and elated that I just started running through the tunnel, throwing up my arms and whatnot. So great job on the defense, giving the ball back to the offense twice in that situation. Offense getting in field goal range. And again, Nick, just nailing it. So it was great.
Yeah, how proud were you of your unit, the way they stood in there and then stood tall late?
Extremely proud. Those guys have been resilient all year. You look at the situations that happened with the trade, and guys have really stepped up, haven't missed a beat, and really taken ownership on that side of the ball and playing well. So I'm excited for them.
These guys are all professionals, but you just mentioned those trades. Did you have to say anything to them after two talented guys go outside the building, and then you're bringing people back and you have future draft capital, but you want to develop these guys in-house to make sure that you're winning now?
No question. It's all about now, and you look at some of the guys that we have, some of our younger guys that are performing well, A.Z. Thomas, Malachi, Kiko, those guys have been stepping up, doing great things. And then the leadership around them with, Sherwood, Jermaine up front, Jawan has been playing tremendous football for us. So those guys really accepted the challenge and say, you know what, we got to continue to play, and we can't miss a beat, and that's exactly what's been happening.
So looking ahead to Sunday, Dolphins, everything's running through Achane right now. Does it benefit you guys that you played a guy like Bijan Robinson last week?
They're somewhat similar in regards to how they run the ball. They're always trying to find the cutback and get on the perimeter. And he's just as good as you saw with Bijan last week for us out in space. I think he's the highest target guy on third down, so they're going to try to get him the ball out in space. So, yeah, it does help. We got to make sure that we clean up our angles and our leverage to the ball, because they're going to try to do a tremendous job for us trying to outflank us on the defense.
What's it like playing against a guy like Tua, who he'll get rid of that ball very quickly?
That's one of the things that we emphasize and talk about all the time, and it starts up front. When we can't get there, we got to do a great job of getting our hands up, and then really just trying to mix up our coverages on the back end to where we are tight sometimes from a standpoint of man, making him throw in the tight windows, but also changing the look post-snap to try to confuse him a little bit and make him hold the ball.
How much are you enjoying this right now? You are a teacher at heart. Early on in the season, you guys weren't getting the success. But now you see you guys have won 3 of 5. And if you beat the Dolphins on Sunday, that would be 4 of 6. So these guys are seeing rewards from their labor.
And you're exactly right. And that's the great thing about a coach, man. You want to be able to have those players receive their rewards for the hard work and dedication that they put in. And from day one, and I told the coaching staff this, we've never approached our day-to-day operations as a reflect to our record. These guys have never come in here in an 0-7 mentality, man. I mean, they're like working hard, and you see that throughout. And exactly, you're right where we are right now for us winning games down the stretch, and I see us continuing to do that. So to be in this situation and see the progress, we talk all the time. You want to start playing your best ball in November and December, and that's where we are right now, and it's a lot to build on.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Good to hear from Coach Wilks. Now, coming up on Jets Game Day, Bart Scott breaks down the Dolphins and the Jets. What else do you have for us, Bart?
Here's a breakdown. All season long, I've been searching for the Pepsi tailgate MVP. So let's hit the parking lots of MetLife because the Jets tailgate is incomplete without a Pepsi. Bart Scott here, out here at MetLife Stadium looking for another Pepsi tailgate MVP. I can smell the bold flavors. Can't wait!
Let's go!
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. You must be Mike. I am. I just followed my nose and it brought me right here. I hear you have one of the best sandwiches, maybe the best sandwich, period, in all the lot. These are made special just for the game. Tell us a little bit about this sandwich and what's in it. What makes it so special? You got 5 different types of cheese. You have parsley. You have all kinds of spices. You have peppers, onions. This is a special sausage patty. Would you like one? You bet I would like one. I love the texture, the peppers, the sweetness, the perfect blend, and then that cheese just explodes in your mouth. You got that? You getting that? You're just missing one thing. This goes great with a Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let me work. Cheers. My taste buds are going crazy. And because of that, you are officially our Pepsi Tailgate MVP. All right. J-E-T-S, Jets.
Welcome back to Jets Game Day presented by Audi. Now it's time for Inside the Numbers brought to you by the New York Lottery. Our first number is 83 as an Isaiah Williams 83-yard kick return against Atlanta last week to get the Jets in scoring position. Earlier in the season, Williams took back a 74-yard punt return for a touchdown. He has been stellar in his 10 games with the green and white. Sticking with special teams, our next number is 56 as a Nick Folks game-winning field goal to give the Jets the victory. As for last-second field goals, Folk now has 6 walk-off game winners in his Jets career. What a season for the special teams unit. Jets fans, your lucky numbers for the week are 83, 74, 10, 56, and 6. Now it's time for a film breakdown presented by Moody's. Bart, what do you have for us this week?
Thanks a lot, Caroline. I got a whole lot for you this week. We call this organized chaos, special situations. Oh, they're so crazy is what Rex would say. You have a tight end as a quarterback. You have a tight end in the backfield. You have a tight end on the line of scrimmage. How many tight ends did the Atlanta Falcons employ this year? So here's what we have. We have a special situation, looks like a tush push. We have man-to-man coverage here. Oh my God, my man's in the backfield. Man-to-man coverage here. We have man-to-man coverage here. We have man-to-man coverage here. So what this basically boils down to is the man on the end line of scrimmage, the corner is now in the box involved in the run play. Everybody's doing variations of the tush push. The quarterback is a tight end. He's going to pick the gap. That's traditionally what people do in these tush pushes. You want to put a guy that's a little stronger than Kirk Cousins. The Jets do a great job. Instead of pinching into the gaps and creating an open bubble, what they decided to do is put a man, Phillips, right on top of the center in what we call a odd front. What's important is this guy right here is the guy that they're trying to isolate against a huge back. This is a Sean Green type of back. This is a rhino. This is a guy that is downhill, no fair dodging. And as the play goes, you see the quarterback, everybody's pinching up, anticipating a quarterback sneak. We see the communication. Oh, you're so crazy. Right here, he didn't bite the cheese. As his man goes down to block, he has to understand to have vision because he's also force. Forcing the run means anything outside, the widest man has to force it back in. We got a tremendous play by the rookie coming down, and bam! That's a big man right there, and he goes backwards. You got to give Thomas a lot of love in them streets for that right there. That is a tremendous play by a young player coming up against an established physical downhill runner, and he makes the play. Congratulations, you're off the field. Go get your game rate.
Thank you, Bart. As always, coming up on Jets Game Day, don't go anywhere because we are giving our final thoughts ahead of kickoff.
This film breakdown is brought to you by Moody's, proud partner of the New York Jets.
I think that this team has learned from the past, and each week creates its own challenge. But this is a team that doesn't waver, it doesn't blink. That we're confident, and we look forward to those moments because we know that we've been there before, and this isn't foreign territory for us.
Just us staying consistent, focus on the little details of our job and communicating, everybody being on the same page. If we're all wrong, we're all right, we're all playing the same call. So I think that's just the biggest thing, is just getting our cleats in the dirt and allowing us to go play fast.
Yeah, I think each and every week I've learned something new. Definitely gained more experience through every game, every team, the different type of D-line I'm going against, the secondary. So I'm just trying to take everything in like a sponge, trying to learn everything I can, and just progress every single week.
That was your locker room roundup presented by Dunkin'. The Jets run on Dunkin'. Okay, now time to make your case, gentlemen. EA, you're up first. In order for the Jets to beat the Dolphins at MetLife Stadium, what kind of performance do you need to see out of Tyrod Taylor?
I got to see the same thing that I saw last week against Atlanta. He protected the football. He went down the field to Adonai Mitchell. He also showed that he has young legs at 36 years old. You know what you're going to get out of Tyrod Taylor. He's protecting the football. The Jets played really late in the second half. I'd like them to start faster here against Miami, and I anticipate that they're going to build on their performance from last week. Taylor's going to continue to get more confidence with those receivers, especially John Mechie and Mitchell.
Bart, while the Dolphins are not in playoff contention, they are on a 3-game win streak. So what is the main key that the Jets need to take care of in order to snap the win streak and secure a victory?
To quote the great Clubber Lane, pain, right? And that's what winter football, northern football is all about, bringing a southern team up north and introduce them to our elements, like they tried to introduce us to their elements and their heat and all that stuff, and dehydration. Well, come up here and let's deal with this cold and these frigid weather conditions. Ball security is going to be key. Hopefully the Jets can lay those Rydels, on the Dolphins and get some turnovers. And listen, we've dealt with these elements all week because we live in these elements. We practice in these elements. They haven't. They're going to have to learn how to deal with the football, which becomes extremely slick when it gets cold in these type of elements. And, we can give our offense some extra possessions. And on the offensive side of the ball, we know how to handle the ball. They don't.
Okay, so potentially some more turnovers from the Dolphins.
Correct.
I like that. I like that prediction.
I said all that to say that. You summed it up in 2 words. Thanks a lot.
What can I say? I'm succinct. Okay, let's get into our final thoughts. EA, what's your final thought?
From the final week of the preseason to the NFL trade deadline, the Jets made an NFL high 8 trades. I know a lot of people are looking at the draft capital because the Jets have set themselves up in the future. You have 5 first-round picks over the course of the next 2 years. You potentially have 4 picks in the top 50 here coming up in April. But think about the players who came back, who are contributing right now on the defensive side of the ball. Harrison Phillips, Jawan Briggs, Jarvis Brownlee. On the offensive side of the ball, John Mechie and Adonai Mitchell. The Jets are doing a great job balancing things here. Darren Muji is identifying talent, and that Aaron Glenn and his staff are bringing these players in, and they're putting them in positions to be successful. And you're seeing this thing build. And the Jets are winning in the short term, and they're going to win in the long term.
For me, it's about building the brand, right? You are what you put on film. And what the Jets have proven in the last couple of weeks is that they're resilient, that they have a lot of fight in them and no quit. And that's what I want to continue to build. Offensively, defensively, I think everybody knows and expects it from the special teams. It's time for the other 2 units to kind of make it a routine, make it a part of the brand. We've seen it on film. And our coaches always tell me, once I see it on film, I got you, because I know you can do it. So we know the Jets can perform at a high level. We know they can be disciplined. We know they can make plays. We know they can be explosive. And we know that they can get the ball back and play stout defense. I want to see them continue to build that brand. By the end of the year, the final game of the season, I want to be able to look in this camera and tell you exactly what being a Jet is all about underneath the Aaron Glenn regime.
And something that I really appreciated out of Aaron Glenn last week on the sidelines, he was saying, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. And I really do think that these players are starting to believe and buy in, and that's why this thing is turning around. Well, thanks everybody so much for watching Jets Game Day presented by Audi. Next week, the Jets are on the road in Jacksonville for their Week 15 matchup, so we will see you then.